Haymaker Coffee Company was established in 2021 to create the best coffee to fuel the underdogs who perseveres, who hustles, and have the give-it-all mentality to achieve their American dream. Haymaker Coffee only roasts top quality, specialty grade coffee beans, resulting in brews that satisfies those who demand every drop from their coffee and day. If you work hard, run hard, fight hard, and play hard, we have your coffee right here.
Welcome into another edition of the Stripe Show podcast. It is a Froggy Wednesday, and today we are joined by, I'm telling you, if you watched any of last week's Houston Open, Tony Finau gets the victory number 4. He's on fire. There was somebody putting a little pressure on him. Yes, I know he had a 4-shot lead, but the guy that was just 4 shots behind is our guest today, Tyson Alexander. I mean, me personally, I like Tyson because he's a Gator, and his dad was a longtime buddy, Alexander, coach at Florida. Tyson, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Great to have you.
Yeah, Froggy, I appreciate it, man. Glad to be here.
If you notice right behind me, you see the bottom of something hanging on the wall. You can tell what that is.
Gator head, baby.
I got a big old giant gator head on the wall. I do. I love my Gators, and I mean, listen, I remember seeing you play there at University of Florida, and you've been out on tour for quite some time, and then last week everything kind of just came together. I mean, really an amazing finish, an amazing tournament. For lack of a better term, what clicked last week?
Yeah, good point. I think it was this sick little mustache that I let grow in. I think that was the kicker.
No, is that a Movember thing, or is that you're just doing it just because?
I had a beard going, and we were in Mexico, and it was hot, and the beard was driving me crazy, so I just shaved it, and I left the mustache for one day, and I'm like, it kind of made me laugh, so I was like, you know what, screw it, let's just do it this week. And I played good, so we're gonna do it again this week.
All right, so have you shaved it at all? Are you trimming it, or are you just letting it go?
I trim it like every about 4 days because it gets a little funky, so I kind of manicure it a little bit.
Okay, because I was wondering, when are you going to get into like the beard oil, or are you getting the wax so you can like curl it up like a Wally Fingers type deal? Or
yeah, I don't grow facial hair that well, so I think after this week we're gonna call it quits.
Nice, unless you have another second place or a win.
Yeah, but then I got the off season, so I can really grow one out.
I mean, it really is. I mean, it's crazy how you can play for so long and grind, and then last week everything clicked. And let's be honest, that golf course was not easy. It was eating people's lunch a few days, and yet you were able to just climb up the leaderboard.
Yeah, I thought last week's course kind of suited me very well. It was a big boy golf course. You kind of had to hit a lot of drivers, and then you had to be pretty creative and pretty well rounded around the greens. And I felt like the first 2 days I played pretty solid golf, and then the weather switched, and it got cold and windy on Saturday, and I thought that also kind of played into my hands. I prefer it when it's 10, 12, 13 under par, win the golf tournament.
Right.
When it gets to 23, 24, 25 under, it just seems like you gotta be clicking. Everything's got to be on. You got to make a bunch of putts. It's a little more precise and perfect. But when I saw the weather forecast and the wind and the cold weather and the conditions, I thought that kind of played into my hands as well.
Yeah, I mean, you shot a pair of 66s to open the golf tournament, and then shoot 70 on Saturday, and then come back on Sunday and shoot 66 again. I mean, finish in second place to Tony Finau, who has been on fire lately. Let's be honest, is really an amazing finish. What do you take away from last week that you're able to take into RSM this week?
I mean, I can compete out here. You know, if Tony Finau wasn't there, I'd have my first PGA Tour victory.
Yeah, you would.
And so golf, we lose a lot. We get beat up, and I didn't win last week, but I felt like that was a big step for me, and knowing that I can compete and try to win golf tournaments out there on tour.
Tyson, was there ever a moment as you've been on tour, whether it was, and we'll go over your long road to the PGA Tour, the times that you were on these other tours, was there ever some self-doubt that crept in that, hey, maybe I'm not good enough to win out here?
There was definitely self-doubt, but I always thought that when I played good, my good golf was really good. Um, as a young kid, I was always really long and kind of wild, and I've kind of tightened that up a little bit. But when things are clicking, I felt like my good golf was really good and can compete with anybody. So there was self-doubt when I was on those other tours on whether or not, I was going to have enough finances to keep playing, whether or not I was going to keep trying to play professionally. I took a job at one point for 6 months as an assistant pro up in Virginia. But there was self-doubt for sure, but I don't think I ever doubted my good golf.
Right. You knew your good was good enough. It's just how often, because let's be honest, even as
Yeah.
amateurs, I, speak from the amateur perspective.
Hmm.
I don't have my good stuff all the time. So it's,
Right.
we talk about Tiger and not to compare anybody to Tiger Woods. He is obviously in a
Yeah.
level and an echelon.
Don't compare me to Tiger.
No, but I mean, Tiger Woods could win with his B game. The average
Yeah.
player on the PGA Tour cannot win with their B game.
Right. Yeah. Someone told me not too long ago, they're like, you need to get very familiar with your B game because that shows up a whole lot more than your A game.
Yeah.
And you need to learn how to manage it. You need to be comfortable with it, because let's face it, your A game shows up 2 times a year, maybe, and 3 times a year. And that kind of hit home for me. It's like we're always trying to be perfect and strive for perfection, but in reality, we gotta play with our B game a lot.
How many times last week of the 366s and the 70 on Saturday? How many times last week did you have your, as you would call it, Tyson's A game?
The first 9 holes of the golf tournament were pretty easy. I think I shot 3 under and missed a couple putts.
Wow.
So yeah, there's glimpses of it. And then I'm trying to think. Sunday I had a good round, but it just kind of, threw in a birdie here, sprinkled a birdie there. It was not like I got on a heater or anything like that. But the first 9 holes of the golf tournament were really nice.
Wow. So 72 holes of golf, your A game showed up for 9 holes. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And there's another question I want to ask you. I think people will be very surprised at your answer. I didn't ask you this before we recorded this.
Mm-hmm.
In a 72 hole tournament, not in one round of golf, but in an entire tournament, 72 holes, how many times would you say you hit a shot that does exactly what you want it to do?
That's hilarious. So we're playing, I think it was Thursday, or I think it was Saturday, and I'm blanking on the hole. I think it was like a 6-iron, and tough par 4, hit it in there, and there's some wind and it's cold and it's a tough shot, and I hit this 6-iron. I know where it was number 10. And I hit this 6-iron, and it went 30 feet right of the hole, and it was the perfect flight, the perfect spin. The wind grabbed it and it moved it a little to the middle of the green. The pin was on the left, and I told my caddy, I go, that was the best shot I've hit all day today. And it was to 30 feet, middle of the green, but it did everything that I wanted it to do. It had the right height, it had everything, the right spin. But yeah, sometimes we'll pull a 9-iron over to the flag and it's to a gimme, but we know deep down that was a pull.
Right.
And yeah, so I don't know, not as many as you think that we hit exactly where we want it to go.
Exactly. And that's why I've argued before here on the podcast that proximity to the hole can be misleading.
Oh yeah.
Because proximity to the hole could be you hit it to a foot, but you may not have been aimed to a foot. So that doesn't mean you did exactly what you wanted to do.
No, the crowd doesn't know where we're aiming. The crowd doesn't know. I'm not going to tell them that I pulled it.
Right. Neither does the guy on TV who thinks he knows where you're aimed.
Oh yeah. I watched a little bit of the coverage that it replayed or whatever, and I went for it in 2 on 16, and the guy's like, I don't think he likes it. That I loved it. He must have misread my body language, but I absolutely loved it. It turned and went to the middle of the green, and yeah, sometimes you just can't believe, or you can't. Everything you hear on TV, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, say that a little louder for the people in the back, because I know that's exactly the way it works. I often wonder, I'll watch golf. And I think that was Colin Morikawa, I think, said that he didn't like something that Trevor Immelman had said. I
Yeah,
believe it was Trevor Immelman had said about him, about the way he was like lucky to win or hadn't won enough. There was something there. I think
yeah,
there's a lot of times if you guys, while you're playing, heard what was being said on TV, you'd be like,
yeah,
respectfully, that's wrong. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you know that stuff happens. But you know what, Tyson, your golf history is long. Let's be honest. Your dad was a very, well-known, very decorated coach at the University of Florida, Buddy Alexander. Your grandfather was a three-time winner on the PGA Tour. And your road to the PGA Tour has not been one of just like, hey, listen, I just showed up and it worked for me. You've been on many tours. You've done Latin America. You've done Canada. You've won on the Corn Ferry Tour. And you even said you took a job as an assistant pro somewhere for 6 months. Talk about the journey from leaving the University of Florida to now finishing second in a PGA Tour event and having a PGA Tour card.
yeah. So it obviously it took me a little while to get out there, but when I first turned pro, they didn't have Canada, they didn't have Latin America. So you had mini tours, then you had the Corn Ferry Tour, and then you had the PGA Tour. So every year, if you weren't on the Corn Ferry Tour or the PGA Tour, you'd play mini tours, and then you would play Q School at the end of the year, trying to get status somewhere. And first couple years, just never got through Q School. Didn't play good enough to get status out on the tour, because back then you could get it on the tour and then or the Corn Ferry. It was all under one umbrella of Q School.
Right.
And then so I would play all year on the mini tours. Played pretty well, had some wins out there, and then for whatever reason just wasn't very good at Q School, which is not a good thing to be bad at.
Right.
So, and then finally, my game kind of lost itself a little bit, and I was struggling, and still kind of had some money to go to Q School and try, and just kind of was banging my head up against the wall a little bit. And finally, there's a pro up in Charlottesville, Virginia, who played for my dad at LSU, and then was my dad's assistant coach at Florida when they won the national title in '93.
Right.
His name's Rob McNamara, and he just said, "Just come work for me for 6 months, and you'll realize professional golf ain't that bad." You don't want to work in the golf business. You want to get back to playing. And so I moved up there for 6 months and gave some lessons and played golf with some members and kind of had fun with golf again. I would just kind of hit a couple balls and then go play, and I wasn't working on my golf swing. I wasn't, I was just trying to not think as much, to be
I see
honest.
what's happening here at this point. You're playing with people who play like me, and you're like, wait a second. I really am pretty good at this game because
Yeah.
these guys are awful.
And they're telling me how good I am,
Right.
even though I just missed at Q School for like the 5th year in a row, and it's
Right.
and then you kind of start believing it, then you play good and some stuff, and so then that year I went back to Q School after working there, and didn't get through again, but then that year I went to Latin Q School and shot 66 66 the last 2 rounds of that to get my card. And if I don't do that, I was in a tough spot. I don't know where I would have gone, but glad I did those 2 rounds like that. And then played okay the first year, kept my card, nothing crazy. Had a chance to win the Argentina Open, which is a big deal. I think the winner gets an exemption into the British.
Nice.
And then the following year, I won out there and got top 10, and that gets you Corn Ferry status. So then I got out on Corn Ferry, 4 years on Corn Ferry, and finally, won and got my card that way, and here we are.
Wow. You know what? It really is a long road, but at the same time, it's taught you probably to appreciate it. And you've probably learned a lot along the way, learned things, what to do and what not to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, golf, we fail a lot, and it's, I'm 34. If you told me, if you told anybody that they could have their dream job at 34, I think they would take it, and
100%.
some people in the business world, you got to work your way up, and eventually you'll get to where you want to be. And I'm 34 and I'm where I want to be. And I know there's young kids out here and they jump out here real quick, and I would have loved to have done that.
Oh,
But hey, I'm here now, and let's make the most of it.
I mean, these kids coming out of college now are just ready to perform. It
Yeah.
really is unbelievable. They compete at the highest level right out of the box.
Yeah. I went to Gainesville not too long ago, and we played in the Gator Golf Day. It's where all the alumni come back and play, and
Right.
every single one of those kids has a great golf swing.
Yeah. Castillo's a pretty good player, right?
Castillo, I mean Fred, there's a bunch of them. John, they got a good squad this year, but they all stripe it. They all hit it good. I'm like, man, I felt like I had a little bit of a weird little action back then, and they all got good coaching now, and it's pretty cool to see.
Tyson, what is the biggest difference in players back when you were in college and when you were trying to get on tour in the beginning versus players now? What has changed so much? Is it the data? Is it the physio? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think kids know better information earlier. They they can get their hands on a TrackMan. I didn't know, in to out, we would figure out how to hit draws and fades just by trying,
Right.
whereas TrackMan, and he can tell you your face to path, all sorts of stuff. Same with physio, everyone's doing the right kind of workouts. Everyone's, doing speed training, and I just think that the knowledge, now some of it, you can get too much of it, I think, at sometimes.
Yeah,
But
you're not playing golf, you're playing golf swing.
yeah. Sometimes I wish they would throw it away and go dig it out of the dirt a little bit. But I think that's why their games are just better earlier. I think they get better knowledge earlier.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of the Florida Gators, I know who was on your team when you were at Florida?
So Horschel's a year older than me, so I played with him for 3 years. Manny Bajagas, Camilo's younger brother.
Okay.
Will Strickler, Tim McKinney, Toby Ragland, Tyler Brown, Andres Echeverria.
Wow.
We had some good teams, man. Obviously Billy helped. He carried a lot of the weight.
Now, was Billy a stud in college?
Oh yeah,
He was.
Yeah, he was pretty reliable. If he played bad, I felt like he was going to play good the next day. He was
pretty fiery in college as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, you got to give us one good Billy story. Come on, there's got to be one. There's got to be one good story about Billy, just because, I call it emotional and fiery. I have no issue with it. I love the fact that Billy gets fired up. Nothing makes me more upset than when I see somebody like kind of in contention and things are going well and they make a mistake and it acts like it doesn't bother them. I like that it bothers him. That means he gives a shit. That means he cares.
Yeah. I think he's a lot more tamed, I think, than he was. So
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, he was a little crazy back then. The one story I have is, so we're about once a year we would fly private, and it would used to be, we would used to pick it to where if it was a weird city or like a smaller airport just to make the travel. And this year it was NCAA's, and it was in Toledo at Inverness.
Mhm.
And Billy's like Mr. Perfect, man. He's got all his clothes are ironed. He's always on time.
Yep.
He's like Mr. Professional,
That's Billy.
which is good. I'm not saying that's bad, but that's just how he is. And so we're flying out, at 8 a.m. that day, and I think we're going to play 9 holes that day, and then 18 holes the next day or something for the practice round or something. I can't. And it's NCAA's biggest term of the year. And so we get there, we're flying private, we drive right there, throw our clubs in the plane, whatever. Well, Billy had been putting, I guess, in his apartment the night before. And so he he forgot his putter. He left his putter at his apartment.
Oh, damn.
And I just remember him having to tell my dad that he did that, and it hurt Billy so bad to have to mouth those words. And I'm kind of a smart ass, and I loved it. I was dying laughing, and I'm like over there laughing to myself on the side because Billy never messes up, man. He
Right.
always plays good. He's always on time, and it was cool to see him be a regular person there and screw something up.
So did you guys delay the flight to Billy go get his putter?
No, no, no. We flew there. We flew there and without his putter, and then the next day, like our 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 assistant athletic director was flying up, and he went over to his apartment and grabbed the putter and
Wow.
flew up. So Billy like didn't have his putter for the whole practice round. Like it was kind of a bad deal.
Wow.
But yeah, it was it was funny.
That's funny. How'd Billy end up playing? Do you remember?
We all played like crap the first day. I
Oh,
remember that. My dad didn't even want to talk to us. But then I think we battled back and played okay. I'm sure Billy played fine. I mean, he's pretty good.
a lot of good, a lot of good golfers come through there. You got Horschel, you got DeMarco, you got
Mhm.
Matt Every, you got Vijegas, Brian Gay. I mean, there's a lot of good golfers have come through UF, and we haven't seen any really standout golfers in a while. Hopefully that will change. Hopefully our level of talent is moving up. It seems like Georgia gets. I mean, when you look at the Georgia roster, the guys that are on tour from the University of
Yeah.
Georgia, it's ridiculous.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like we had good teams and we competed with them, but like they were better than us. And they're out all out on tour, and I understand why now. It makes me feel better. At least they're out on tour. Um, but yeah, they always had good squads and good players, and um, yeah, and they're good dudes too. So
Yeah, they are good dudes. They're a little better than us in football right now too, unfortunately.
yeah, man, Kirby Smart's got it going on. But I like our boy Billy Napier.
I
So
do. He's
I think
recruiting.
I think he's gonna recruit. I think he's got a plan. I think he's I don't know. I think we need to give him some time, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, these fire Billy Napier things I saw after like week 3, 4, 5 weeks. Like, come
Yeah,
on, man. I
yeah,
mean, he's not even coaching his kids yet. I mean, like, let's
yeah.
give him some time. Let's get him in there. He's still in
Well,
year one.
well, we've got 4 losses this year. Georgia, ranked number 1.
Yep.
Tennessee, ranked number 5.
Right.
LSU ranked 7th.
Right. And Kentucky.
Kentucky, I think they're ranked now,
They
24th.
were ranked. They were ranked until they lost to Vandy this past week, which was, by
Oh,
the
that's
way,
right. That's
was
right.
Vandy's first SEC win in 25 or 26 tries. So yeah, I mean, those are not 3 of those are not terrible losses. They're top 10 teams in the country.
Yeah.
And remember, we beat Utah, and Utah's in the top 10 now.
Yeah. And if we went out and go 9-4 in our first year with a tough schedule, I mean, dude, that's about what we were gonna do.
I just want to beat those raggedy ass Knowles. That's it.
I know. I know. We're better than them. We should.
Glenfiddich, the world's most awarded single malt Scotch whiskey, is expertly crafted and made with extraordinary care. Each single malt is a work of perfection.
I hope we can. Getting back to golf, I do want to ask you, being on the road that you've been on, what do you learn more from? Do you learn more from a miscut, or do you learn more from, say, this past week, finishing second place? What will you take more from leaving that tournament?
Normally I would say probably a miscut. You're motivated to fix it. You've got things to work on. But for not being in the heat of a golf tournament on the PGA Tour ever, and to get in there and handle it the way I did, I think this go around, I think I'm going to learn more about it from the second. I was, Tony had such a big lead that it was almost 2 separate golf tournaments. He was playing one, and we were all kind of playing for second.
Right.
And I battled and hung in there and shot one of the lower rounds of the day on Sunday when it mattered most. And I can build on that, and going forward, I can kind of use that and know that I can do that.
Did contention feel like what you thought it would?
No, I was pretty calm. I don't know if I ever felt like I was in contention, to be honest with you. Tony was so far ahead, and
Yeah, but second place, I mean, you make,
oh yeah,
you
yeah,
missed a few shots and you're bleeding money there.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I was pretty calm. I think I was maybe more calm than I thought I was going to be. But I'm a pretty chill guy. Like I don't get too high, too low.
Right.
But yeah, I was more ready for the opportunity, I think, than I was nervous or anxious.
Now we got the RSM this week. You're teeing it up with Justin Suh and Nick Hardy. Is this the end of your season? Will this tournament be the end? You take some time off?
Yeah, yeah, I'm ready for it. We played the last Corn Ferry event finals, and then we had 5 days off, and then we were in Napa. So
Right. That's
uh,
40 minutes.
we've been cooking for a while now. So I'll be ready to kind of take a break and not touch the clubs for a little bit, and then Hawaii will be here before you know it.
It will be. It will be here before you know it. I want to talk to you about these elevated events. So as we start the new season, we've got some elevated events, and it's no secret as to why the elevated events exist and what exactly has caused us to have the elevated events.
Right.
As players, how do you guys feel about the elevated events?
We want to get in them. Look, you gotta make the guys. You got to get the big guys happy. We don't want to lose any more players. And I think I think it's a smart plan. Some people think that it's two separate tours. Um,
It can tend to feel that way a little bit.
yeah. Um, but you know, if you're in those elevated events, I think you're in a good spot. And
Right.
yeah, it's tricky because you don't want the PGA Tour to be broken up into sections, but I feel like that's how it is. You got the majors, you got the WGCs. Um, that's just kind of the way it is. That they want to elevate purses and elevate events. They got to do it somehow, and they can't include everybody. And if anything, it should just motivate you to get in those events.
As as somebody who is a guy that's trying to climb up into those elevated events and get that max earning status, do you guys on your level, do you guys feel like there is a path to get there now, or do you feel that it's harder?
Um, there's always a path. Good
Play
golf,
better.
good
Play.
golf solves everything. But yeah, play better. Is it harder? I don't know. I mean, this is my first year on tour. Yeah, maybe. Um, but at the same time, good golf just takes care of everything,
It does. It does. Finishing second last week took care of a lot.
Yeah, I think that helps me in a lot of ways. I'm not the guy that like studies everything and knows the reshuffles and knows all that crap. I just try to play as good as I can, and I'll eventually somebody will tell me I'm in or out or what where I need to go, and I'll just go try to play well.
When you were in second place last week, does the money, the earnings, does that ever cross your mind?
After the fact, yeah. I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that putt on the last hole made me a bunch of money.
It did.
But I don't know. I want to win trophies
Right.
too,
Right.
But for rookie first second place finish, it's cool to see that check hit.
It is. That's nice. Does it hit does it hit the next morning?
I think it hit Wednesday or something like that.
Hit Wednesday. That's nice though.
Yeah.
You like check, you're like, boom, wait a second. That
Yeah.
was nice. Let me go out
Yeah.
and practice a little more, make some more of that stuff.
Yeah, it motivates you to do it again.
Have you seen the official world golf ranking stuff going on today?
I saw a headline, but I didn't click on it. I think Rom said something, and then Rory said something, but I don't know the details.
Yeah, so just to get everybody listening up to date and you as well. So what happened is earlier today, there was a press conference for the DP World Tour. I guess the DP Championship is happening overseas. I guess they'll start play late tonight, early tomorrow morning. It'll be on Golf Channel. So there are 50 people playing in the DP event this week, and 7 of those players are in the top 25.
Okay.
There are only 22 world ranking points going to the winner from that event. So you've got 7 top 25 guys, 50 total players, 22 points going to the winner. At the RSM this week, there are no top 25 players. There are 156 players, but 37 ranking points going to the winner. Rory says that he agrees with it. He understands the algorithms that were put in place. There was a lot of studies and many years of things that have gone into it. Rom says it's laughable that a tournament with 7 of the top 25 players gets 22 points, and a tournament with 0 of the top 25 players gets 37 points.
Yeah.
But it's based upon field total players and
Right.
playing 50 guys versus 156 guys. My question to you is it harder to beat 155 players versus 49 players if there are 7 top 25 players? What's harder?
Give me 50 players all day. All day. I just think there's so many good players in the world now. So if you increase the field size, that's just more guys that are going to have a hot week. If it's a 50-man event, 20 of them are going to play bad. That means you're going to beat. It means you got to beat 30 now. I'm a perfect example. Last week in Houston, I don't know what my world ranking was going into that week, but it wasn't that high. And I go finish second, and I beat. I'm sure there were some good players in that field that I beat.
Right. Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, a little bit.
And yeah, he's top. What is he? Second?
Number 2 in the world.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all you need to see right there is the more players in the field, the harder it is to win. That's just the way it is now. I'd have to see more of what Rom said. But I just think when the field size increases, it just gets a little trickier.
Because there's so much talent. Guys can win at any level. Guys can get hot. Like you just said last week, you finished second place. Now, does that mean all of a sudden you're a better player than Scotty Scheffler? No, but last week you were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the volatility in golf. I could miss the cut this week, and I could go second miscut or miscut second. It's just golf is so crazy. But you throw 156 guys in there, some guys are going to play really good, and when there's 50, it's just some guys are still going to play good, but it's just easy. I think Brooks Koepka even said it right, that majors are the easier ones to win because the golf courses are harder, there's less players or something like that, and it sounded crazy at first, but when you think about it, it's the same thing. There's less players that can win the tournament. There's only 50 guys in the field. It's just, I don't know. I would much rather play a 50-man event.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes to the same odds as a lottery. If you got a lottery pool and there's only 50 people in it, you got a 1 in 50 odds. You got a 156 odds. The other way around, your odds are better at 150. I see that. But at the same time, I see where Rom says, hey, we've got 7 of the top 25 guys in the world. Should we have a little more world ranking points? But
aren't they basing world rankings off of the players in the field? I thought that was something talking about.
I thought so too, and I think it's also number. It's quantity over quality. I believe it's quantity. So the more players there are, the more world ranking points are being awarded because, like you said, there's more. You're beating more people versus beating fewer people.
I thought they were gonna like base it off of everyone's world ranking, and then each tournament was gonna have like a number that comes out. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not everything. Everything is still up in the air with the live guys. Are they going to get world golf ranking points? And a lot of things have to change in what they're doing for them to get world golf ranking points. Will that happen? I don't know. Do you think we've seen the majority of who is going to go, or do you think there are more people in the wings waiting to go?
I think you've seen the majority, but there's definitely going to be some more guys that go.
Any big names, guys that will be, let's be honest. Some guys that have gone, and I'm not, I I understand why some people went and some people didn't. But I think when they're getting down to Tringali going, like Tringali's not somebody that's going to shake the foundation of the PGA Tour by going to play live.
Right.
Do you think we'll see any more? Listen, I hate to lose Bryson. I hate to lose DJ. I hate to lose Brooks. I understand that. Those are detrimental leaves for the PGA Tour. Do you think we'll see any more of that status leaving?
I think there's a possibility. I mean, guys are motivated for different reasons. If they throw, X amount of dollars to someone eventually, who knows? I'm not inside those guys' head. I can't. I don't know what they're thinking, but I definitely think more will go. The big names, I saw the other day that Shoffley and Cantlay, there's a rumor there, but
yeah, I think I saw that was shot down again.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, good. I think I saw that was shot down again. They both have said they're staying for now. I mean, remember, good. Almost everybody that went, I was talking to somebody from the tour, and almost everybody that went at one point or another said they weren't going. So when somebody says they're not going, I think on the end of that, you have to put, I'm not going right now. Right. I don't think you'll see the day that Rory, Justin Thomas, Tiger Woods, the guys that have really stood up and been champions of the PGA Tour, I don't think there's enough money to make them go because number one, they don't need the money. Number two, I think the PGA Tour in history and that stuff means something to them. So I don't think they'll go. But I do think there are some that the purse just hasn't been big enough. And I mean, or the money that they're offering them hasn't been big enough. And we've had some guys here on the podcast that have said that there is a price. There is a certain price I would go for. I'm nowhere near it. What I was offered was nowhere near. Yeah. But at least they're honest.
Yeah. I mean, look, if I come to you and say, hey, I want you to work way less and I'm going to pay you quadruple the amount of money, it would make you stop and think. And that's what it does. And, but it's just weird. I think some of the guys that have gone have gotten bashed for it. But if this was a regular person's job, if this was a teacher and they're like, hey, you can work half the year and we're going to pay your salary X times and a lot of people would jump on that. But I think some of those guys got maybe a little unfair shake for leaving. But right now I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah, my biggest issue is where the money's coming from. If the money was coming from somewhere else, I wouldn't care. My issue is, where the money's coming from. I know Greg Norman's got an axe to grind with the tour. He's had an axe to grind forever, and that's really where this is all stemming from. Yeah. Rory took another shot, I believe it was yesterday, and said, Greg needs to move on exit stage left and get somebody in there who is willing to do things, the right way as much as you can do things the right way. And I also agree with Cam Smith that the majors, it just doesn't feel right if you don't have the best players in the world playing majors. However, I understand that as live golf exists in its current state, that what they're doing cannot receive the same world golf ranking points that a 72 hole event gets. It just can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would love to play in the majors with Cam Smith and all those guys. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not in charge. I'm not important enough for it to matter. I'm just trying to play good when I play.
It's an interesting time in golf for sure. It's great to see. I feel like we've got more eyes on our sport, more ears on our sport, and that's always great to have. For whatever reason it is. But people are talking about it and watching golf, and that's always good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool too. This Netflix thing I've heard is going to be very cool. I don't know when it's coming out. Maybe next year at the beginning of the year. But I hope it brings even more eyes and ears to the game. I think it'll be an inside scoop and it'll kind of help the sport even more.
Yeah, golf's definitely getting younger. I'm not sure if you've checked out the brand new PGA Tour app. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm just letting people know it's out there. The brand, if you go download or update the PGA Tour app, it's completely redesigned. And I actually like the way it looks. It loads faster, a lot more information. Very cool. The things they've done to the PGA Tour app. They're absolutely listening There had been a lot of criticisms about slow loading and slow information and
We
whatever.
we got onto him for it.
Yeah. So it is. Have you checked it out yet?
They showed us like a trial of it. I think in Napa, what it's looking like.
It's out now. If you go
Is
and
it
download it now, or if you go update the app on your phone, on the iPhone, mine updated.
okay?
It's really, really cool. It's got a lot of information, and I'm interested to see how it is when they do, when there's balls in the air. I'm interested to see what it's like.
Cool.
So that'll be good. Well, Tyson, man, I appreciate you being here. Before we let you go, we want to get an emergency 9 in. We'll play a quick 9. I'm going to ask you 9 quick questions. Some have to do with golf, and some don't have a damn thing to do with golf.
Okay.
So here we go. Number 1, what is the worst shot, but the best outcome you've ever hit? Because we all know we hit shitty shots, and it ends up next to the hole. So you hit just a shot that was awful, but it ended up pretty good.
That's tough. I hit one the other day in Houston. It wasn't that bad, but this bunker shot was going to roll 20 feet by, and it whacked the pin, and went to a gimme. Sorry about that.
No, that's good. That's exactly what I'm looking for, because we all do that. It makes me feel better. You do it too.
Okay, it hit the pin and went to like a gimme, and everyone started clapping. That's another example of people thinking that I was trying to do that on purpose, but it was going to go screaming by, and it just whacked the pin and went there to a gimme.
Hey, we get enough bad breaks in this game. You got to take you got to take the good ones when you get them.
Yeah,
because you definitely do. Number 2, your favorite sports team or athlete?
Sports team would be Florida football, Florida basketball.
But how'd we lose to FAU the other night?
I know that hurt, and this is his first year, and
that was bad.
I know we don't need any more of those.
No. And your favorite athlete?
My favorite athlete, I don't know, myself.
Good. All right, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Your go-to food on the road?
So this is kind of funny. So my good buddy Manny Bajagas, who's Camilo's younger brother, he caddies out here for Siwoo Kim now, and we did it last week in Houston, and we did it in Vegas. He always asks Siwoo for a good Korean barbecue place.
Nice.
We went twice in Vegas to the same spot, and we went once last week in Houston to a pretty good spot. So that might be a new trend.
Nice. Most famous phone number in your cell phone?
Ooh, famous. I don't have anybody that cool.
Tebow?
No. Billy's boys with Tebow.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not cool enough to be friends with Tebow. I don't know. Probably some golfers. Like nothing too crazy.
Player you're most nervous to be paired with, or would be most nervous to be paired with on the PGA Tour? And if you say Tiger, maybe you can give me another one, because everybody says Tiger.
Yeah, that's an easy one. I don't know. I'm 34, so it's like, yeah, I'm a rookie, but like, I'm not. These guys don't scare me.
Right.
I'm not like giddy when I see somebody walking by me on the range. They're just
right. Just another player till they get up there and start knocking this shit. You're like, wow, I just want to hit it like that just one time, please.
Yeah.
If you had a side hustle, what would it be?
A side hustle. Probably gambling with my friends in pickleball. I think I can beat most of the guys that I play with.
Pickleball is like a thing, man. I think there's some tournament on TV tomorrow night. I think it's called Pickled. Dirk Bentley's playing in it, a couple other guys. Yeah, Jimmy Allen's supposed to be a good country singer, supposed to be a good pickleball player.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I played tennis as a kid, so it's kind of the same thing, but it's a little less running. But it's fun.
Craziest golf tip you've ever gotten, and where'd you get it from?
Craziest golf tip.
Yeah, Kramer Hickok told us he got a golf tip off Instagram one time, and it worked. He said he almost won a tournament.
I've gotten stuff off of Instagram before. I've sent fitness stuff to my fitness guy, be like, hey, should I do this? And he'll be like, hell no, don't do that. Or yeah, do that. That could work. Yeah, I have a folder on Instagram that I have stuff saved to that kind of is like, oh, that kind of relates to me.
You ever show any to you ever show any to Parsons when you're up there taking a lesson? He's like, "Don't do that shit."
Yeah, I think I probably have sent him a couple things like, hey, would this be smart? And thumbs up or thumbs down or something
Right.
like that.
In the gym, cardio or weights?
Not cardio, never. My trainer Alex Bennett, he's got this new thing, and we haven't done it yet because I'm in season. But he's like, once the season's over, we're jumping on this thing, and I'm
Oh, that's not good. That's never a good thing.
uh
Music on the course or no go?
sure.
What genre?
I'm a hip hop guy, but you can play something not hip hop, and I'm all right with it. I don't want to be in charge of the playlist, but I'm okay.
Good deal. So, what's your schedule after RSM? You said you're going to take some time off, and then we won't see you again until Hawaii.
Yeah, I got a break. Thanksgiving, Christmas, just kind of be chilling, and then like I think it's January. We get going again. I might go out a little early to Palm Springs and see those courses and break up the Hawaii trip a little bit. So yeah, it'll be a break, but it'll be a short one.
Yeah, it's a long haul from here, from Jax to Honolulu. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's a long haul. With your second place finish last week, how much of your schedule can you plan out moving forward?
Yeah, I need to talk with my agent about that. Like I said earlier, I'm not the guy that knows everything and knows the numbers. And
Right.
someone asked me today if I'm going to be at this tournament, and I'm like, I think so. Like I don't know.
I'll let you know when it gets here.
Yeah, I did hear that Bay Hill is looking like a possible
Good.
opportunity because of last week, and that would be pretty cool. That's pretty close to home, and
Yeah.
that big event that I've always gone to and watched. So that'd be pretty cool.
And then, of course, we got the Players in March. You need to get into that too. That's a home
Yeah,
game.
that's a home game. That'd be real cool. I need some tickets for that one.
That's a home game. You have to hit a Billy for those. So he can take
Yeah.
care of you.
Yeah, he's Mr. PJ Tour. He's cool enough to get me some.
He really is. Good deal, Tyson, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Congrats once again on your second place finish last week, man. And good luck at the RSM. And hopefully we'll see a lot more of you.
Thanks, Froggy. Appreciate it.
PXG has done it again with the launch of a new lineup of drivers, fairways, hybrids, and irons. The new Gen 5 golf clubs deliver significantly increased MOI, faster ball speeds, longer distances, and tighter dispersions, all coupled with the exceptional feel and sound golfers have come to expect from PXG. Schedule your custom fitting or buy online at pxg.com.